Welcome everybody, it's Harry Box for the Technical Trader at thetechtrader.com. It's Saturday, May the 4th. This is the weekend webinar. It's an important one, and after a really important week in the market. Take a look at what happened, and you can see that Thursday and Friday were very, very important days as the market reversed and then gapped up on Friday and went gapped up through a declining moving average and declining tops line as well. So a breakout of some sorts, and we need to see if there's a follow-through. Now, I drew these lines in here to show the possibilities that it could be a 1-2, and this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If we don't pop out and follow through, they could come down and surprise everybody here. This is a key moment in the market. The NASDAQ 100 similarly broke through a declining tops line and the 10 and 21-day moving average, but just finished short of the 50. Still a breakout with a big gap, big breakaway gap, I think, across key resistance. Your next target would be up around the retest the highs around 18.4. Small caps came to life, spiked up. 4 to 5 days it was up last week. More importantly, Friday was the big pop day where it went from 199 to 204, finished 202.33, up 1.2% on the index, but more importantly, up to resistance, taking out lateral price resistance in the 50-day moving average and closing above it. I think that would be key, or right at it. Let's see. Yeah, right around the 50. Quite interesting. Let's see if there's a follow through, but it may be time for some small caps to really make a much bigger moves here. Transportation index popped the resistance, the only index that really didn't break out. So always want to see that follow through to give you a what we call a Dow theory forecast confirmation. Transportation's following the industrials and breaking out. So this one needs to do a little work. The underlying technicals show, in terms of the oscillator, that the market went to a plus 100. That's the highest reading in a couple of weeks, but not necessarily overbought where we get up to 150, 200 zone or more. So we're trending towards that, and we may get there early next week. The participation is a little lacking. The amount of stocks above their 40-day moving average are only 4 out of 10. So, it's not a broad market rally, and always a concern when you see that. Now, let's take a look at some of the components of the NASDAQ 100. They're very strong. Look at Apple. This is a massive breakaway gap. I was showing you that Apple had a 1, 2, 3, and then it's a complex pattern here, but it looked like a 4, 5. Anyway, bottom line is the double top and a key resistance level was broken out with a massive gap up, and it closed up 1077 or 6.2%. On one of the biggest volumes I've ever seen for Apple, 174 million shares. It may be the biggest day ever, but bottom line is that kind of a pop, we may get a follow through towards 190 for starters. So NASDAQ 100 based just on that alone, pretty solid. Amazon, you can see snap back out of the falling channel, had a really big island reversal a week ago, and now it's pushing back up near the high, which was 189.77. We got up to as high as 187.87, so 2 points away. And if we do break out, this could be $200 stock. Google, after popping a week ago and pulling back, it held pretty well, and Friday was a good day for it. Let's just say I'd like to see this one hold 154 at the gap and press back up towards 176, but it's a bullish chart. Microsoft, you can see Microsoft broke down, double bottomed, snapped back, but it isn't as strong as some of the others. It has a little work to do. It's right after the declining tops line, so I'm not keen on this just yet, but over 414, much better if it gets there. NVDA, just want to look like it was done and right back up. Now, for me, the key support in NVIDIA was Wednesday's low at about 812. Now, I know it's all the way up to 886 again, and technically, this looks like an inverse head and shoulders or a V bottom with a right-handed extension. I would say, though, that the key numbers for me are 907 up through there. If we get to 907, you also would probably take out the declining top line and have this thing spike into the 950 area or more. Pretty bullish look. Just make sure you know where the stop is. Netflix. Nice snapback, but right to resistance at the gap. that also has work to do. It did come out of the wedge that looked pretty bearish. So we'll see where that goes. Meta, same thing. This is not a pretty chart. A big breakdown and a rising bear wedge to the gap. If it fails, it's going to fail ugly. If it breaks out, it could snap back, fill the gap, get up to 473. So maybe 20, 21 points ahead of it just to fill the gap. Nevertheless, when you break down after a long uptrend and you break the trend line too, it's not a good sign. So between that and Netflix, still a little suspect market, in my opinion. We have work to do. And the monster in the midway, which was the monster midway, Tesla, what a comeback, especially after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves down, a reversal, breakaway gap, a running gap, and now a pullback. This falling wedge might be a good entry opportunity for a move that gets it to test some key resistance at 2056. Support 175.6. And I want to get below that ideally. So let's look at the NASDAQ 100 components. Now let's look at the ETFs we follow closely for the industry groups we like. Semiconductors, very similar to NVIDIA, no question. It follows it pretty closely. Look at this long-term uptrend. Yeah, we're nowhere near this, but if you angle it a little differently, we got pretty close to the trend line, at least a parallel line. In any case, we got right to these highs in here and that pullback low. And fill that gap, by the way, and then popped up to resistance. Nope, we have not gone through resistance. So it behooves the SMH to take out, let's say 219.5, 20. Then you're on your way back up to 228.30 or more. This V bottom needs to be heated 206 is support, SMH. What about financials? Financials, we got it. There you go. Financials, V bottom right-handed extension. Thursday's low, important to note. We don't want to see under 96. And what we want to see is a pop that takes out 105. Sorry, 104. Once you're through that, then you got a shot at retesting the 112 range near the high. So do we have V bottoms and right-handed extended platforms or flags? Yep, on that one. Biotechs, back up to the forefront. Nice recovery, but again, if you look at this pattern, the declining top line was broken. A nice thrust, 5 out of 6 days. The XPI has gone from 91 and change to 81 to 91, sorry. We're back up against resistance, so this has not broken out technically. It's broken through the declining top line, but not through resistance, that I think is key. And if that does follow through, I'm looking for 96.5 and 102.3. Promising, but again, below the 50, it can still fail here. If you look at the overall pattern, it might still be a left shoulder, head, right shoulder forming. I don't think so, but just giving you a what if, especially if this turns out to be rising wedge to resistance. If we come down immediately on Monday, a lot of these things will be, I think, in a bad shape. We need a follow through is what I'm getting at. That's XPI, and here's the LABU, which is the other ETF tracking stock, very similar. That needs to get up through 121 to get going again, and then we're looking at 140, 42. So the semiconductors and biotechs look great. The financials have work to do as well, but even the biotechs, resistance here, and then here on financials. You can see the SMH also up against it. If the market immediately turns down on Monday, this would be a classic failure at resistance. So this is important, folks, because with this kind of a pattern on all of them, if they're up against resistance, they need to pop and break out. If they do, it could be a massive short covering, a monster spike up blow off rally. It could last a few days, but we'll see. That's where we stand with that. Other ETFs as follows. I'm not sure why everybody's excited about oil when I look at this. It looks like to me a classic 5-wave move from there to there, and then a 3-wave corrected, but it broke the trend line. It broke the moving average, and it broke lateral price support. Can't be high on oil, not yet. not at this juncture. Same thing with UCO. Careful on that. And natural gas, well, you look at KOLD, it looks like that could have reversed too, but it's right on support. If this breaks down, the boil is going to pop. If you look at the boil, it's a nice little base over the last several weeks. And you were near a breakout or may have broken out Friday through the declining top sign and close right on a 50. So watch boil next week because I'll be putting a trade on it if I see it over 15.10, which is the key resistance. Around there. Got to be watching this closely. So that's oil and gas and gold. I didn't show you the gold yet. The GLD is a different story. It looks better. And take a look at this. This is the GDX. Now, I know it broke out. I know it's consolidating, but you do not want to see this underneath 32. What we want to see is over 36 for a run into the 39.40 range. NUGT and JNUG, similar patterns. So yes, it's a promising setup, but you're at support, for example, on JNUG, you don't want to see a breakdown here. Because then the whole pattern is ruined. So there'll be some gold and silver stocks I'll show you a little later, but just still, I mean, I like it. This might be a 1, 2, 3, 4. We could see a fifth, but I'm cautious. Okay, we got a lot of stocks to talk about. Let's get to it. Alphabetically, we start with ADCT, which had a beautiful run in November when it was trading around literally like 36 cents and ran up to $6. Now it's gone sideways and coiled and digested that gain, but boy, if it pops through here, we're looking at 7, 8, 9. ADMA, very nice rising channel for this junior biotech, basically 3 to 7. Rising channel and about to break out again. Channel top target is about 8.5, 3/4. AEM, this is a major gold. AEM breaking out of a base and running up at a very sharp angle with a target at 75. Stop is under 62. AEO in the retail sector, American Eagle Outfitters has gone literally from 10 to mid-20s, high 20s, and consolidating nicely. So if we do get a breakout, your next target is 30.31. AEYE has been on a tear ever since it broke out in February at around the 5 range and has more than tripled. Friday in particular, it's spiked up to almost 20. So this is nearly a 4-fold increase. It's done it in 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is a choppy fifth, but it might and could extend to 23, 24 before it has a more important pullback. Underlying technicals look great. Look at AGBA, spike breakaway gap, sharp run up wedge, a pop, and have another wedge. So I'm thinking there's one more to go, and we might see as much as a double from here. AGX, long base, beautiful pattern. There's another flag, breakaway gap, and look at this one. This is an engineering construction firm with a really tight pattern. And move through here could get us towards 70. ALAR has been in a beautiful uptrend. This software stock broke out here, and it's been in a rising channel since, with a target of 40 now. AMRX broke out on Friday. I wanted to show it to you an engulfing reversal bar and a close above resistance, targeting 7.5 and 8.75. Great long-term chart. APH, Amphenol, no cheapie, but a beautiful chart. I wanted to show it to you. I think it extends to 130. APP pulled back and tested the moving average on price support and bounced. What I need to see is a breakthrough 79, and then you're looking at 90. ARQ, beautiful, low-priced pollution controls type company. Breakout there and a rising flag there. Very, very, very powerful chart. Looking for double digits. ASPN, breakaway gap Thursday, follow through Friday. Fantastic chart. Target high 20s. AU, this is one of my favorite goals. You can see a pop, pullback, pop, and then another pullback. So this has got to hold and stop is under 21.5, 3/4. Targets 26 and 28.9. Bluebird, really nice long-term chart. Nice short-term chart. As it popped out, wedged, popped, wedged, popped, wedged. Look, basically it's stair-stepping its way higher. Easy stop would be right there at 31. Target 39 at 45. CADL, explosive 2-day pop and then a wedge. And now look at this move. It's been up 9 of the last 10 days, folks. Slow but steady move. I suspect we may retest the highs at about 11:40. Stay tuned. This has Momo. CAVA, this restaurant chain, really did well since last October when it was 30. Here it is 72. Target 90. CCJ, uranium purveyor, and the largest. Nice consolidation flag in here, but there is a double, triple top area here. Got to get above 51.23. Target is 56 and 60. CDE, a low price gold stock, Coeur d'Alene. Used to be called Coeur d'Alene, it's Core Mining now. I'm looking for 7. Nice wedge. Well, monster move on CGC on Tuesday, but the last 3 days been pulling back on lower volume. It's at support. I don't want to see much lower than that. If you come back and fill in here, you might see high teens, maybe 20. CGEM, tech trader swing popped out and then pulled back for a day or two and then ran ripped right back up. How about a move from 15.29 to 29.25, nearly doubling in a week plus. Right now, technically flagging. CLSK, beautiful long-term chart. This tech stock is now consolidating bullishly. Double top resistance, the target is 51 and then 60. CLSK, I'm looking at this as a long 1, 2, 3, 4, and I think a fifth wave could take you to 30 or better, but you got to see a breakout of the wedge first, so let's look for a move over 21.5 with volume. Stop is under 13.5. Conduent. Look at this left shoulder, head, right shoulder, big base pattern breakout on Friday. My target 490. COYA. After a big 1, 2, 3, 4, now the fourth wave consolidation, it may be ready. But I would wait for a move over 9.25 with volume. Then your targets are 11 and 14. Kupang. Explosive move, falling wedge, another explosive move and a flag. Wow. Well, it's an explosive stock that could make 25 or 27. CRBP, breakaway gap in January, pullback wedge, another run, and then a long coil. It looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a fifth wave might take this in the 60-65 range, perhaps on a takeover. CRNT had a nice pullback after we recommended it. It ran up to the target zone, then pulled back right on support at 2 3/4. Friday was a good day for it as it popped about 6.5%, but it looks like it may have broken back out. And now I'm looking for a retest of 340 and it run up towards 4. Kinetics, take trade a swing, popped out, consolidated. I got a target at mid-50s. CRTO, another take trade a swing, pop, wedge, move up to the target, consolidate, break out, pull back, but nice close on Friday. I'm looking for 40 and 44. CTMX exploded Thursday, and I mean bonkers. 165 to 590. Then a pullback, but a nice pop on Friday. Watch for this to back and fill a little. I'm not sure what it's going to do if there's a follow through, but above 5 3/4, it's an $8 stock. Maybe. Carvana. Folks, look at this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm a seller up here. This stock has gone from 25 to 122 just since November. But you may remember back 2 years ago, it was a $3 stock. That's right, 3 to 122. If it does explode, 180 is a target, but I don't know. DELL. Well, I first gave you DELL back here at 69 in September. It took a while to develop, but started to accelerate. And you can see it's gone from 69 to 130 some odd and then pulled back, but it's coming on again. I'm now looking for a move to 140.45. DESP, beautiful base, nice stair-step move up. It's at long-term resistance. It's consolidating. Watch for a move over 13.25 to run it into the mid and high teens. DraftKings popped out and pulled back Friday, but it might be a sign it's ready to go again. Beautiful long-term chart. It's been a swing of mine since the low 20s. Next target is back to 50. DTSS spike, pullback spike, and then a long coil right at the apex. What's it going to do? I don't know, but the key is going to be over 990 or so across here. It's rock and roll time. DYN, beautiful long-term chart. has gone from the 6 range into the high 20s, 30 range, but it's been consolidating for 2 months. If it's ready to go again, you might see mid and high 30s. EBS exploded Thursday, inside day Friday, but it looks promising coming out of a base. I say my next target is going to be 5.5 and 7. EGO, low priced, well, not low price, but relative strength, phenomenal gold stock. Inverse head and shoulder breakout, pull back, pop, consolidate above resistance. If it goes from here, it could be 19.20. Keep an eye on support at 13.75, 14. Look at this vertical move on ELYM. Literally 322 to 11.55 in a week. I wouldn't advocate chasing this stock, but look at the long-term picture. Massive breakout. The target's near 14 if it goes. Love to see a pullback setup first. ERJ, this is the large South American aircraft manufacturer competitor of Boeing. We have a 1, 2, 3, 4, and the fifth wave's underway with a target now low 30s. ETWO popped out. I put a swing on it. I'm looking for this to make a bigger move. 5.75 and 7. EVER in a wonderful rising channel. It's gone from 5.75 into the low 20s, but that breaks it out. Now looking for high 20s. EWTX breaks out of a base, explodes, flags, pops, and coils coming out of the coil now. 23 and 28 targets. Copper strong, so is FCX, breaks out. It's wedging in here or flagging. My next target is 50.78. FNGR, pop, pull back, and Friday had a nice day. It jumped about 10%. Line picked up to almost 567,000. But any move above 4, and this stock could rock 4.5, 3/4, 5.5, 3/4 or more. Form factor in the semiconductor group, key multiple year breakout. Smoking it, but it may need to consolidate. Nevertheless, support 48.75 and target high 50s. First Solar, I think popped. Here's your base breakout wedge and a pop on Friday. Friday jumped to 11 points. If I can get this up through here, Friday's high. You might see a quick move into the low 200s, maybe 220. FSM, another junior gold silver stock, breakout and wedge. Nice setup for a move to 5.5 and 7. FTI, oil and gas stock, massive rising pattern, beautiful consolidation. Next target 28 and 32. GCT may be coming out as well, but it needs to get a pop above 38.60. You do that, looking at mid 40s. Geo tech traded swing from back here in October when it was a $7, $8 stock, doubled to 16 and change. Now it's got a beautiful coil. Your setup is for 18. General Motors, how about that? Breakaway gap, reversing the entire downtrend, and then a pop flag, pop, falling flag, and now another little one. If it breaks out of here, which is key resistance, you're looking at 50 again. GNK and the shipping group, very, very strong pattern, break out of a base, stair step your way higher. Channel top target, 25. GOGL is another in that group with a channel top target at 17.18. GVA in the construction group, 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth wave starting, multi-year highs. I got a target at 70. IBRX finally popped and broke out across a triple quadruple top. Pull back and stall, but if this gets above 10.5, you might be looking at low teens. INCR, beautiful junior biotech type drug stock. Multiple waves up. The target is 4. JNX exploded, coiled, popped, flagged, and popped again, and now it's running. He thinks the takeover is due in the mid to high 70s. JD, Chinese stocks are emerging. This one had a little head and shoulders, but look at the breakout. Here, key breakout last week, targeting high 30s, low 40s. LBPH, also another biotech that exploded and been coiling. That too is breaking out. This too might be a takeover, but I'm looking for a retest on the high 20s for starters. LFMD, beautiful rising channel, and has been in one for a long time. You can see how this one may be headed for 16, 17. LRN, Educational stock, breaking out of a long consolidation, maybe headed to high 70s. Media Alpha, MAX with a breakout, long coil, and then a break of the coil and pullback retest. Something tells me it's going higher, high 20s target. Meso exploded. I mean, literally went from 2 to 7 and change and pullback. It's popped right back to the highs and then some. I'm looking for an extension move to take it near 10. ML, a tech trader swing, popped, broke out, and then pulled back. But I like the action of Friday. If it can get a follow through, stay above 73.4, we might be back to 85 pretty quickly or more. 3M, I want to show you this large inverse head and shoulder and breakout. New CEO announced, pretty good report as well. I'm targeting 111 and 126. MMND with a pop, explosive move, falling wedge, but it's coming back out of it. I think the possibilities are we see the stock in the mid-teens. MRNA broke through multiple tops. This is a tech trader swing. Exceptional day on Thursday. Got to my first target already at 128.9. The next target is 142.3. Micron wedging now and consolidating. The stop's under 105. The targets are 129 and 150. NUGT disappointing me. It's a nice consolidation, but I thought it was going to pop here. It's pulled back down to key support. I don't want this under 8.5. I'm still looking for 11, 12, and maybe 14 eventually. NRG, fantastic chart. After basing and breaking out a year ago, this stock has just gone crazy. Literally from October when it was 36.7 to 76.7. I'm looking for mid-80s. Nutanix may be ready for a move after consolidating nicely, but a beautiful uptrend. And once this takes out 67, I'm looking for 72 and 77. NTRA, tech trader swing. And by the way, Nutanix is as well. Pulled right back to the gap and bounced. If this one takes out 98.80, I'd be looking for probably 106.7 and then maybe 120. NXE, junior metals, uranium type stock with a beautiful rising chart and a target near 10. Oscar, tech trader swing, broke out of the base. It's moved up, challenging resistance at 1835. On Friday, it tagged 1869, so a nominal new high. So I think it is going to extend. I'm looking for 21 and 25. Pan American Silver, one of the leading silver stocks, had that big move along with a lot of other gold and silver stocks. And now it's coiling, consolidating. I needed to hold and go with a target of 21.75 and 23.75. Paysign, beautiful chart, currently an ascending bull coil in a rising channel. That's a powerful looking one with a target of 5.5 next and then 7. Puma, pop breakout, we put a swing on it. I believe the stock can go. The breakouts have a long-term base. There's some resistance right where it is, but a breakthrough here, and we're looking at 7.575. Impinj, phenomenal chart, broke out here. We put a swing on it. It just kept going. It's gone from the 59.60 range to 161, more than doubling the 140% move, and it doesn't look done yet, although it is at near-term resistance. Palantir may be breaking back out again. Nice long-term chart. I believe this is eventually a $33 stock, but my target's 27 for starters. PSTG, after breaking out and coiling for a bit, this needs to break out. Watch for a move above 55, and then I'm looking for 65. Pubmatic, breakaway gap, wedge, pop, and then an ascending bull wedge of sorts. Key resistance on Pubmatic, 24. Above that, 27 and 30 are targets. PWFE, Power Fleet, breaking out of a base here, spiking up, pullback retest of the moving averages, and then it's coming back on again. It looks to me like a stock could make it back to 6 and then maybe 8. Rev Group, beautiful rising channel. Snap back last week. I'm looking for an extension to 25 and 27. RNA, tech trader swing, has been moving from the 8 to 27 range and now might be one of those biotech stocks that just keeps going. I'm thinking that eventually mid to high 30s or better could be a possibility. Root, believe it or not, pre-market was 97 that day and then reversed, so you can see the nasty reversal on it. Look, it's had its run. Literally went from 8 to 97 in about 2.5 months. So at this point, I'm out, but I would caution you to not let this go into 49. RXST breaks out of a coil and is running. I love this long-term chart. It's beautiful. Base, 1, 2, 3, 4. Fifth wave may be starting, which could accelerate. I'm looking for 70. Seed, finally, after popping in February and pulling back, has been coiling near the apex. Something's cooking, but I wouldn't touch it until I see the stock over 350, 60 with volume. Then you're going to see 4.75 and 5.75. SFM, spot film, the market exploded Thursday and followed through Friday, reaching 76 after breaking out of the wedge at 63. Not sure how far they take it, but I would look for 80. SIGA, big run in March, nice little wedge, popped and broke out. Particularly Friday was a strong day for it. Nominal new high here. Has room to run. I would look for 12.5 and 15. The Skechers with a phenomenal pop after a long consolidation and a beautiful rising channel. For me, it's a long 1, 2, 3, 4 to fifth wave. I think it's going to take this to 80. SMTC also broke out, and there's a gap to fill there. My extension target is going to be 44. STTK with a big explosive move in December and a rising wedge or flag, and then popped and went sideways for 3-4 months. Looks like it's breaking back out, folks. Keep an eye on 1158.60 range right there. We get through it, looking at 13.15. Talk came down, it's formed a bear wedge, but it's still in the above the rising channel bottom. I would keep a stop under 290. I'm still looking for a move to 4 and 5. Teva, big rising channel, then a pullback, but it held secondary support and bounced right back to resistance. We get through here, we're looking at 16, 17 zone. TMDX, major breakaway gap through key resistance. If it pulls back, it might be an entry out for a swing, but I think the stock got fantastic momentum. I'm looking for 150. Tandem broke out as well on Friday with a big breakaway gap, looking for an extension move to 50.52. Tudor Perini, the construction firm, breakaway gap, running gap. I think the stock makes it into the low 20s. ULBI broke out. We put a swing on it. It's run up every day till Friday when it reversed off of a new high at 13. However, my extension target based on my angle of ascent is 17. UTI, after a long run, this educational stock broke out of a base, had a long run, consolidating now, but boy, I'll tell you what, if it gets through here, high teens. Vista Oil and Gas, one of the stronger oil and gas stocks in the entire street, has gone from under 2 to over 43. How about that? And yet, it doesn't look done yet. I'm looking for 48. Vital Farms, fantastic breakout and a strong run, barely pulling back, extension target 31. Viking, well, after the big explosive move in February, it's coiling ever since. It's had a couple fits and starts here and here, but it hasn't broken out. Viking needs to get to 80 with energy. Friday was a good reversal day off the moving averages, but I don't want to see it on the 71, quite frankly. BRRM, look at this chart, and it still looks higher. I'm targeting high 20s, maybe 29, 30. VRT, fantastic chart as well. It's just ripped from the 12 range into the 90s. And I don't know if it's done yet, but I tell you what, the angle of ascent says we could see 110, 15. VST, just as strong. How about this chart? Utility that's gone from 22 to 84. Unreal. Don't be chasing it, but if you're in it, just keep raising your stops. Right now, stop on the 74, target 95. WGS broke out last week, and it's had a beautiful pattern and consolidating for a couple days now. Target is 26. Wheaton Precious Metals, the largest silver purveyor. Really strong chart, stronger than PAS, above key resistance and a neckline of a massive inverse head and shoulders, which could lead to much higher levels. Looking for 60. Zeta, tech trader swing, broke out, pulled back, wedge, and popped. I think this is going higher, much higher potentially. Looking for high teens. And that's it. And alongside, they're going to have some shorts to cover. We can finish up. I'll start with Autodesk, which was a very successful swing for us. Tech Trader short was here in the 240 range. It dropped down to 205. Actual low 206.23. It bounced around. Friday was a good day for it. Just be careful. Don't let it get above 1920. But if it backs and fills in here, it goes lower. My target's 195. Akamai did bounce Friday, but after getting way off, this is where I said shorted at 112.15 range. It got down to 98. It's long in the tooth to the downside, and it may bounce, but I'm eventually looking for this stock to make it to high 80s. AMR, this couple coal stocks are looking weaker in here. Now this broke and it's formed a large consolidation flag type pattern. Obviously, any move above 361 would be a cover for me. But if it rolls over, it takes out 315, you might see a plunge into the 265 area. ASML, look, I know semiconductors are strong. This one, though, broke down. It's got a bear wedge. Just be careful. You may get a retest of the trend line or lateral price resistance up here, but eventually, I think this could be $800 stock, maybe 765. Currently, 902. BRZE broke down. It's forming a big bear wedge. It's not really responding that well, although for Thursday, Friday, it did bounce. I don't want it over 43, but under 38, you could see 35 or less. CDW breaks down, snapback, and then crushed. Bouncing back a little bit, but I don't think it gets over 227. Eventually, if this breaks this area, you're looking at 200. CEIX, another coal stock. You can see the large consolidation. Obviously, the cover is over 89.90, but eventual targets are 75, 70, and 65. CMT broke down hard and spent months consolidating, but it broke down again on Friday. Look, if it gets below here, it's just going to fall away. This could be 12 or even 10. Core broke down hard, rallied back, filled the gap, and look at that bearish engulfing bar. That is really ugly. Quite frankly, I think you can see 200. You may see 185. ELF broke down, bounced, just pulled back. If that gets underneath 153, you're going down to 144, 132 or less. Fox Factory was a great swing short for us. We're on that 69 range. It got down to 39. Even though it bounced Friday, it's pretty ugly. Although it is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so you probably needed to have covered there. INFA breaks down, snaps back, and now is right on the precipice of getting hammered. Really bad technicals. This should be a short. I think Informatica has got a good shot at 25.6 short term. INMD. It's been a swing short of mine twice. You can see where it is now. Not going to be shocked to see the stock go in the low teens. LITE. Broke a head and shoulder top, breaks down and snaps back. It needs to not go any further than where it is right now, ideally. If it fails, we go down to high 30s, mid 30s. The stop would be over 46. PVH, hard breakdown and a bear flag. Simple as that. Now, if it breaks out, it breaks out. But if it doesn't, if it takes the lows out, look out below. Eventually, 89.90 target. And finally, SiteOne, which is a tech trader swing short, broke down. Formed a little bear coil. I put a swing on it short. It went from 22 to 1933, and now it's got another bear coil. See it? Looks to me like it can't go lower. And I would look for something around 18 or 17. Folks, that's an exhaustive look at the longs, the shorts, the underlying technicals, the indices, a lot of the major ETFs we follow. Chock full of information. I urge you to review this a couple of times so you're prepared for next week, as I always do. Have a great rest of your weekend. I'll talk to you Monday. Enjoy.